The Samsung Galaxy A73 5G was launched in April 2022. I've been using this phone for about a month now, and in this video I'm going to answer the very important question of should you still buy this phone after 6 months? Coming up next.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Cyber Reviews. In this video, we are going to look at the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G, look at the price today, look at the unboxing experience, what comes in the box, the features, and answer the question, is this phone still worth it or should you consider another phone? First of all, let's look at the unboxing experience of the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. So as you can see, the box looks like some old movie cassette, those ones you put in the deck and watch movies with, right? And so it tells you one thing, there's no charger included in the box. So when we take off the box, we are greeted with the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G. This is the mint color. It comes in other colors. And my first impressions of the phone, one, I can see clearly that there's no earphone jack. It has USB Type-C. There's a speaker at the bottom, a microphone at the bottom. At the top, we have the SIM card tray, and then we have another microphone. And then we have the volume and power buttons to the side, right? And then at the back, we have the camera. Now, the back of this phone is made up of plastic. The screen is made of glass, Corning Gorilla Glass 6. And it feels kind of light. It feels lighter than I expected for a phone of this price. So let's put the phone aside and let's see what else comes in the box. So you get this kind of envelope which has the SIM card tray pin ejector, and then you have this envelope. So let's open the envelope and see. So in the envelope we have a USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable, right? Type-C to Type-C. It's not braided, it's just normal plastic charging cable. And then we have a very tiny manual. So that's all you get for the unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G. A phone which is selling for about 8,000 Ghana cedis today and launched for over $500. This is just ridiculous. I expect at this price point to be able to get a charging adapter included in the box, not just a USB Type-C to Type-C and the phone. I also expect to get at least, some Bluetooth earphones or something of that sort. This is just crazy. This is ridiculous. I mean, nowadays the unboxing experience is very, 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 very boring because it's just phone, charging cable, and a manual. For this amount, wow. Samsung, we want the charger included in the box. At least give us the option to say we don't want the charger, but give us the charger included in the box. Now let's go back to the rest of this video. This is the 128 gig storage variant with an 8 gig RAM, right? You can also get this phone in 8 gig and 256 gig storage variants, but the 128 gig is even selling for about 8,200, and the 256 is selling out for about 9,000 Ghana cedis. So then it begs the question, what is so special about this phone? Should you buy this phone? Well, in my time of using it, it has been a very lovely experience. If we talk about the display, this phone has a full HD display. It has HDR10 display, and it has a 120 Hz refresh rate. And so consuming content on this phone is just amazing. Everything feels smooth. Everything feels very responsive. In fact, my wife made a certain comment when she was watching like a movie on the phone, and she said, wow, like the phone is really, really nice. The screen is amazing and all that. So in terms of the screen, the display, this is top notch. This ticks all the boxes for anything that anybody would want in a quality display. And did I mention that it also has 800 nits of peak brightness? What does that mean? It means when you are using this phone outdoors, like when the sun is overhead and it's very bright, you'll still be able to see the screen very, very clearly. It's really good. The bezels on it are very minimal. It has a bit of a chin at the bottom, but those things don't really matter. Is the display good? Excellent. It's excellent. It's amazing. But is this phone worth 8,000 Ghana cedis in Ghana? It's very expensive because Ghana is kind of facing a recession where our currency is currently rated as the worst currency in the world, right? But apart from that, this phone has the 5G tag attached to it, right? So the name is Samsung Galaxy A73 5G. And 5G modems or processors are very expensive. Every phone which has a 5G processor is typically more expensive than its 4G counterpart. But in Ghana, we don't have 5G access. So if you're watching this video anywhere apart from Ghana and you have 5G access, comment and let me know. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it if you are in Ghana, right? If you can afford it at the current rate, why not? It's an excellent phone. The performance is just amazing. What I use it for mostly is for work, emails, Teams, and then the occasional YouTube. And then I do a bit of like video editing on my phone. So by the end of this video, I'm going to do like a comparison between this phone and the iPhone 11 Pro Max that I've been using for close to 3 years to see which of them can do editing and exporting of the same video file using the same video editing app faster. Right now, also having 128 gigs of storage means that you have enough storage to install all your apps and your games. And if that's not enough, you can also have an SD card that you put into the dedicated SD card slot, so you can expand your storage, and that's a really good thing. Or you can just get the 256 gig variant and have even more storage. Also, having 8 gigs of RAM means that you're able to multitask and run a lot of apps without the phone seeming like all this period I've been using it, it has never lagged. It's been very smooth and very, very responsive. Now, this phone also comes with an in-display fingerprint sensor. It's not terrible, right? It's not the fastest. I usually prefer like the side-mounted fingerprint sensors because those are super responsive. But this is okay. When you want to unlock your device, it kind of shines some light on your finger to be able to read a fingerprint. So it takes about like an extra second before it unlocks, but that's okay. Those are just tiny nitpicks. Next, we noticed that the 3.5mm port is gone. So this phone has USB Type-C, but it doesn't have the 3.5mm port. So it'll be good for you to buy some Samsung buds, but all those things are pretty expensive. We want our 3.5mm so that we can just plug in and listen to our audio as we like it. Next, when it comes to consuming content like media, gaming and all, this phone has stereo speakers and they are pretty loud, very vibrant, very rich. They are not rich in bass, they are rich in the mids and the lows, right? And they can get really, really loud, but you don't get a lot of bass, and I like the bass experience. And that's also because this phone is very light, weighing about 181 grams. You would feel that it's pretty light. It's not as heavy as other phones I've used, for example the iPhone 11 Pro Max I was talking about, and so you can tell the size of the speaker is not so big, right? And also the vibration motor on this device is not very strong. Again, all these are nitpicks. You buy your phone because you want to make calls, you want to use your social media and stuff like that. This phone handles social media like a champ, can do all your Instagram videos, your TikTok reels, and all those things on this phone and have a really good experience. For me, like I said, I consume a lot of content, browsing the internet and all those other things is just amazing. Downloading apps, everything is pretty smooth. The call quality is amazing, and this phone comes with Android 12 straight out of the box with One UI 4.1. So far, it has been a really good experience. I enjoy opening multiple apps with floating windows and using all the benefits that come with Android 12 and One UI 4.1. Next, let's talk about the processor on this device. Like I said, this phone is a 5G enabled phone, and the processor on it is a 5G enabled processor, which is a 6nm processor. What that means is that one, when you are using this phone, the battery life is really strong. This phone comes with 5,000 milliamperes of battery capacity, and at the end of the day, I notice I usually have about 40 to 50% battery on it. And like I said, I use it for my work, emails, text, Teams calls and other stuff, and having about 40% battery capacity remaining is really amazing. This phone also is rated IP67 for water and dust resistance, so it can survive some splashes in the rain. It can survive if you accidentally drop it in your bathroom and all that. So it's really, really amazing. Now the cameras, because that is another reason why many people buy phones nowadays. People want to create content with the cameras on their phones, and I kind of felt that the camera quality is okay-ish, right? But at this price range, we kind of expect kind of like iPhone quality. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's good if you give it enough light. Now, because I am a content creator, right? Creating content using my camera is really, really important to me. And I'm okay that this phone is able to record 4K, but it records 4K at 30 frames per second. I usually like to record 4K at 60 frames per second, which my 3-year-old iPhone 11 Pro Max is able to give me, right? However, if you want 60 frames per second, you can record 1080p at 60 frames per second, and you get a bit of optical image stabilization on the main camera. And this is the result of video using the main camera and optical image stabilization. Let me know your thoughts of it in the comments below. Now, at the back of the phone, you can see we have 4 lenses. So we have the main camera, which is a 108 megapixel f1.8 wide angle OIS enabled lens, right? Going to be shooting 108 megapixels by default. You are probably going to be shooting 12 megapixels, right? But the 108 megapixel mode is enabled for you if you want like better quality pictures, like pictures that you can zoom in and still retain the quality of the image without it getting pixelated. The 108 megapixel is enabled. However, when you do use the 108 megapixels, the size of the files that you are going to get is really, really huge. And so your 128 gig or 256 gig of storage is going to be used up really quickly. And then also you have a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and this is what video from the ultra wide and photos from the ultra wide look like. You also have a 5 megapixel macro lens that you can use, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below how often you use a macro lens. And then you have a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera to help you with portrait photography and, you know, getting that kind of bokeh effect when you are shooting your videos. Again, tell me how important that is to you, and look at the results of portrait photos here and look at video quality when we go closer to the subject. And it's going to give you that. Now, one thing I forgot to mention was that the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G is enabled for 4 years of software updates and 5 years of security updates, which is really good. So if you purchase this phone and you keep it well, you are not going to need another phone essentially till about 2026, which is amazing, right? So that's another pro that goes for it. And then also it has Corning Gorilla Glass 5, which helps to protect against scratches and cracks when you drop it from a certain angle, but I'm not going to do so, right? And then it's also enabled for water resistance, and it has an expandable storage. What I don't like about it, one, is the price tag, and then the fact that you cannot record 4K 60 frames per second today on the front camera or the back cameras. It's a bit some way. And then also the quality of footage and pictures you get from the cameras at this price point, I was expecting a bit more. It's okay if you give it enough light and all that, but it's not the best I have seen. Even my iPhone kind of shows better video quality. However, the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G does have better dynamic range than my iPhone 11 Pro Max. The reason I'm comparing it to the iPhone 11 Pro Max is because today you can also get the iPhone 11 Pro Max at the same price as the brand new Samsung Galaxy A73 5G. And so with this, I bring my review to an end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks, be brave, for watching. See you in the next video.